All right. So listen, yesterday you ended up, you won the day again, and it was on a crazy type of day.
You talk about the challenge?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
challenge.
the challenge. Yeah, Alcantara got the dub. I mean, he wasn't really at fault for why he got the dub, but
He didn't
Marlins
get the
got the
W.
dub. No,
He
he
didn't
didn't
get the.
get the dub himself, but the Marlins got the dub, and they continue to win every time he starts, whether he gets the win or not. Diamondbacks bullpen imploded. Would you say 8 runs in the ninth?
Not only was
Crazy.
it 8 runs, I don't know what the manager was doing there, but he allowed. So Melanson gave up like a single with guys on first and second. They went down 5-4. But then he allowed 4 or 5 more hits, and then the last one was a home run. And they'd scored 4 quick runs. They were up 8-4 at that point with 2 outs. He went out and got a reliever. The reliever that came in, there was nobody on base, and there was 2 outs. Ended up giving up 4 more runs
Yeah,
before they got
so
out of that inning.
a
It
total
was
implosion.
yeah,
Melanson, what's his name? Melanson.
Melanson, Mark
Melanson's
Melanson.
awful. He's been
Yeah,
garbage. That's why the Padres got rid of him. They knew that he couldn't really win a championship with him on their roster. Yeah. Typical day at the office for him. He seems to blow saves every other start. Every other appearance. I'm sorry. So I'm not surprised there. What else? What else do we have in the challenge? You had a game got canceled because of COVID.
yeah. Now listen, how are we losing an entire game because of this at this point? I
Yeah,
thought there were rules in place that this didn't happen,
and I
but the
thought
White
this was
Sox.
over with. Missing games because of COVID. I thought this was way behind us.
Yeah, and it came out of nowhere. I mean, listen, if we're gonna get to that point where are we in May? We're
Yeah,
in May, and this is
May.
happening.
And baseball's played outside, and not everyone is next to each other, so it was kind of weird that they would cancel the game because of it. And then both
Yeah,
teams leave town. Both teams are actually playing other teams today. At least the White
yeah.
Sox are. So I mean, I don't know. It's terrible to still have to deal with COVID interrupting sporting events. Hopefully, it's the last one. Um, and then hey, listen, I seem to always be a day short. Like, look, Phillies and Braves take care of business last night. I had them 2 nights
On a
ago.
walk off, right? On a
Yeah,
walk off.
on
One
a
was on a
walk off.
walk off. Yeah.
And it's crazy. You want to hear a quick story? So at a sports book, a guy had a ticket for $60,000. It was $100 bet parlay, $60,000. Crazy combos he had. All he needed was Braves and under 7.5 as the last leg. That
And it was a
homer
2 run
got out by a foot. If it hits the wall, he wins. It gets out, it goes to 8 runs instead of
yeah,
7. He
because it was a
loses his
2 run
parlay
shot.
because of that. That's sick. It's just crazy how sometimes these things happen, man. It really is. The universe
Y-
works in wonders.
Listen, overall, yesterday was a crazy day in a
Oh,
lot of sports.
oh,
Let's do this. Let's recap the sports from yesterday before we get into all of today's stuff. So I don't know how to put it other than what this what the fuck, Celtics.
well, listen, I'm gonna break it down like this. We saw a championship pedigree on one game and a not so championship pedigree, something I didn't think we'd ever see in the
Yeah,
history of life happened
yeah,
in the other game.
yeah.
So
So
let's start with the Celtics game. So first of all, Giannis is the best player on the planet. I keep saying it, and the guy dropped 40 again last night, 40 and
yeah,
10. Um, the team was down double digits going into the fourth quarter. They were down, I think, 11 with 6 minutes left. They just kept coming. A quick stat for
they
you:
were
the Bucks were
real quick.
6 of 6.
They were down 6 in under a minute. They were down 6 when they hit
Yeah,
the final minute.
yeah. They were the Bucks hit 6 of 6 from three in that quarter. That's the first time in the last 25 years in the playoffs a team went perfect from three of over 5 attempts in a fourth quarter in the playoffs. They hit every big shot they needed to hit, and boy, oh boy, Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year, right? Not so fast. You know, everyone said Drew Holiday was the defensive player of the year, and boy, did he show up last night. First player in history to have a blocked shot meaningful and a steal in the last 10 seconds of a game. Both were on Marcus Smart himself. Yeah, they clamped down. Listen, he missed a free throw, Giannis, that should have ended the game for the Bucks. But then what happens? They get an offensive rebound. Bobby Portis puts it back. They win the game.
Who didn't get the
Championship
rebound?
play.
Who didn't get the rebound?
Who did he body out? Tatum or Horford?
Neither.
Neither.
Marcus Smart went off his hands and back into Bobby
Oh
Portis's
my
hands.
gosh, I didn't know.
It
I
was
saw I
yeah,
saw traffic. I didn't know exactly who didn't
it
get
was
the rebound.
Marcus Smart that crashed
But I'll tell
down
you
and
what,
went off his hands.
Marcus Smart made 3 bad mistakes in the final 20 seconds of this game. First of all, if
Well,
you're
first of
saying
all,
he
are they
didn't get the
his?
rebound.
Let's really quick. Let's reverse back about a week and a half when Marcus Smart made a pass, and
Yeah,
I said, "Wow, I think he's grown because typically he's going to try to be the hero."
yeah,
And
game 1
and for
against the
some reason,
Nets.
yeah, and for some reason he passed the ball. And I'm like, well, maybe he's grown. Maybe he realized what his role is. Why in the world is an
Right,
inbounds play going to Marcus Smart when you
right,
need a basket?
right.
Number
Absolutely
one.
zero chance that should be the play. First of
Number
all,
two
on the
is
on the
he's
inbound one, the one where he got blocked by Drew Holiday,
yeah.
you could kind of make sense of it after he got the inbound. No, after he
No,
got the inbound, there's not enough time to really make a decision. He tried to go to the either get fouled or make a play. He
there's
got
6 seconds.
swatted.
There was 6 seconds.
Bro, but when you get the ball and there's 6 seconds left, you don't have time to think. Like it shouldn't have even went to him. Is the problem that shouldn't have
100%
even
correct.
got to him. But then after that, when they're down 3 late, he's taking the ball up court. Jason Tatum's waving wide open, waving for the ball, and Drew Holiday picks his pocket. Game over. It's a terrible
If
loss.
you're the and if you're the coach of the Celtics, what are you doing having Marcus Smart as the guy that brings the ball up the
Yeah,
damn
I
court?
I totally agree.
Listen, the inbounds pass, if that's Tatum or Brown, Drew Holiday does not block those shots. If it's Jalen
Correct.
Brown, he dunks the ball. If it's Tatum, it's
Correct.
he's up too high. The only reason he's
Correct.
able to block the shot is
It's
because
because
it
it's
is
Marcus Smart.
Marcus
Marcus
Smart.
Smart does not have hops, and he doesn't have the
Yeah.
size the other two have to make it a
It
little
didn't
bit easier
like
for them.
none of and now go back to your other point. Giannis is the best player. Giannis hit the 3 when they were down 6
Bro,
from the
that's
top of
what
the
I'm
key
saying.
to bring
Everyone
them
says he
back
can't
in.
shoot. Bro, this is now the 3rd time that he's hit a key 3 to
Yeah.
make his team either tie or take the lead.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it anymore. He keeps getting better in every facet of the game. He's the guy right now in the league. After the Celtics got a big win to tie the series, they
That game
just
should have
give
been
it
over.
away. They give it away.
They gave it away. Where was Jason Tatum in the final minute?
Yeah.
Now, I missed about 5 seconds of it, and he ended up being on the line, and he made 2 foul shots. He made 2 foul shots. I don't know what he did to get those 2 foul shots. Outside of that, it seemed like he's not their go-to guy. I would say that they don't all know who the go-to guy is
I mean,
right
he
now.
clearly should be their go-to guy, right? And
Should
honestly,
be,
a
but
couple
they
of
don't
the
know
times
that.
wasn't his fault. He was waving for the ball wide open, and no one passed it to him. That's a shame on
What
the
does that
Celtics
tell you?
IQ.
Do you think if Kobe, Michael, or other go-to guys are waving for the ball, do you think if you're in your 4th or 5th year, you're not going to feel the wrath of that guy if you don't give him the ball?
Yeah,
That tells you
Kobe
something.
wouldn't allow the ball not to get in his hands out of the inbound. First of all, so I don't know why Tatum. There was even a position where he didn't come and get the ball first.
None of it
That's
made
number one.
sense. They gave that
And
game
Marcus
away.
Smart even said it. He took the blame at the end of the game, and he said it sucks because it was us that made them. He goes, it was us that lost this game. He goes, we're the reason we lost. We can't have time to think about it. We got to go into Game 6. Milwaukee's not an easy place to play, fellas, and I don't know. I don't know if you
much
could rebound
listen,
after that loss.
I'm not a big NBA guy, but I would have to say right now that if you're the Celtics, you are deflated.
And the Bucks are doing this without their second best player. You know that.
Yeah, Middleton.
An all-star. Chris Middleton is an all-star player who gets 20 and plays solid defense. He's a big contributor to why they won the chip last year. They're doing this without him. And another Drew Holiday finally stepped up. Remember, I told you he was shooting 4 for 16 the game before. Drew Holiday didn't show up to help Giannis. He showed up last night. Played an excellent game.
When was the last time you saw a player allowed to play on the court with blood streaming down his face?
Bro, and it looked like he didn't even care. He didn't have any faith whatsoever that he was bleeding.
Do you think?
No, you're right. They usually stop.
If that was somebody else, they would have had to sit on the bench until they stopped the bleeding. They would have continued the game.
Yeah, they usually stop the game for.
They weren't going to stop. They weren't going to put John. They're not going to make Giannis sit out. But somebody else would have had to sit out. He had blood streaming down his face. But listen, he hit the big. To me, he hit the biggest shot of the game, and
that's the biggest shot of the game. And then he got the big steal that led to Drew Holiday's 3 to tie the game. So I mean, Giannis had his imprint all over this game. Again, 40 and 10.
It was ready to be Al Horford's day today because when he did the rebound dunk, did you see who?
Dunk. Yeah.
Did you see who was on the ground? Who fell down? It was Giannis. Giannis fell. It was like wind threw him down, and he was just on the ground. It would have been memes. It would have been posters. It would have been everything. But instead, we're talking about the Bucks and an unbelievable rally, which it is.
Yeah. And then
we finished this game.
Switched to the West.
We finished this game.
What the hell happened in Memphis last night?
So
Whoa,
here's my
Mike Brown,
thing.
Sacramento Kings. What are you talking about?
If you're so hold on. This is what I'm thinking as I'm watching the second half of a team down by 50. Mike Brown 2 days ago was named the head coach of the Sacramento Kings, right?
Right.
The same day he was named the head coach of the
Because of
Golden
Steve
State
Kerr, right?
Warriors because Kerr. If you're the GM in Sacramento, are you willing to allow your job to ride on the line with this guy who just showed you this is what you get? Because don't forget, it's not one game. They barely won the game before this at home. I think it took a Klay Thompson 3 to win that game. They won by 3, and I thought it was a Klay
Listen,
Thompson 3.
they survived the game in Golden State the other night, even though they didn't play well. There was no excuse for Memphis having the lead for 95% of that game. Listen, this is another. Memphis is playing well without Ja Morant, which not ever happened in the NBA.
Bane looks like a stud.
Bro, they all look like
looks like a stud.
Tyus Jones looks like a stud. Steven Adams was out there playing like Jokic last night, throwing dimes through people's legs and controlling the boards. It was crazy. And I never thought it was. Imagine what it takes to be down 56 points in an NBA game, let alone a playoff game, let alone the Warriors. You know how hard that is for the Warriors to be down 56 points in an NBA game? I couldn't believe my eyes, honestly.
I'm dead serious. If I'm the GM of the Sacramento Kings,
it sucks for Mike Brown because literally
I'm rescinding the offer. I'm rescinding the offer.
You got to put the blame on the players.
No, listen, that team. First of all, they know how to play basketball. Listen, if he's a half a coach, they at least put an effort in the second half. There was no effort in the second half because it immediately went from like 30 to 40.
Yeah, it was 36 and it went to 56.
I will say this. I think if Steve Kerr is in that locker room, I don't think that happens.
You can make that point. I don't think they lose by 50 if Steve Kerr's at the helm, but at the end of the day,
try to win
the players, you can't just take the blame away from the players. They were out there. No. They're the reason why it happened. But Mike Brown being the guy that all of a sudden took over and the Warriors don't look like the Warriors anymore, it's kind of crazy. And listen, they asked Steph Curry before the game, hey, listen, how you guys going to go into this game? What's the game plan? He said, whoop that trick, which is Memphis's theme right now in the playoffs. That's what they play after every victory at home. And boy, did they get whooped like a trick. And listen, after the game, they were playing it, and all you could do was laugh because Draymond Green got in, and he started waving the towel with Memphis. He started laughing like almost like, yeah, we'll see you in Golden State. It was mad funny.
One of the things that stood out to me is they left him open a lot inside the arc, and he doesn't look at the basket.
No, he likes to facilitate. He only scores when he has to or he has any momentum going to the butt. He never really takes a shot unless he has to. You're right. He doesn't have that mentality to score.
You could see a game plan of sagging off of him and daring him to shoot the ball, and he really
there's
wouldn't.
No lie. That's why his points props every night are like 6.5, 7.5 points, which is ridiculous. But he never really goes over that mostly. And you remember him in Michigan State, right? He was the alpha. Yeah. And he totally changed the game, and he's not a guy who looks to score. But I'm very interested, though, because, listen, you could either look at it as Memphis now has that belief and say, you know what, screw this team, we got them. Or Warriors going to say, all right, remember, keep that same energy when you come back to the Bay because we are angry, and we're gonna let it all out on you at home. You could go either way. You can't tell me there's definitively – you don't know what's happening in Game 6.
Well, I would say that Stephen Curry is going to need to find his shot and find it very quickly if they expect to win this series.
But listen, they're averaging 18 turnovers a game in the series, the Warriors. Then they're undersized. So there's some flaws here with the Golden State Warriors getting exposed right here by Memphis, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it looked like one team had full of all-stars and the other team had a bunch of guys that didn't want to – they're over the hill. That's what it looked like last night. They don't
want to go back to Memphis for Game 7, I'll tell you that. If you lose by 56 points or whatever it ended up being, 39, but they were down 56. If you go down and lose at home, going back to Memphis, I'm sorry, bro. You don't want to do that. So that's why this Game 6 is going to be crazy. See what kind of Warrior team answers back. The NBA was nuts. Two different themes last night.
And here we go with I think you're
listen. There was a good point in that game yesterday. I thought, oh, not again. These guys let me down once again. They're going home. And out of nowhere, in the second period, in 3-minute stretch, they scored 3 goals. It was crazy. Rangers took back control because I really think losing Crosby is going to hurt Pittsburgh. And
Yeah, it's going to. I mean, listen,
so
he allows Gensel to slide all
that's the
over the
thing. The
ice wherever he
scoring
wants.
chances they showed the number to his scoring chances with him on the ice and off. 90% of their scoring chances are when Crosby's on the ice.
Yeah.
And as soon as they lost him last night, you saw a different Penguin team. Rangers kind of got momentum back. Their young boys were playing hard. Shesterkin started to play well again. I think they might have got the momentum back in the series.
Listen, when it was down 2-0, I actually thought it was over. I thought the
Yeah, me
series was
too.
over.
Me
I
too.
thought, okay, the series is over. So to see them battle back, like that, and I missed it. I was watching. I think I flipped on the NBA game.
Yeah.
I missed the comeback. I just flipped it back,
Listen,
and I
if you
think it was a tie
blinked, you
game.
missed it. They scored 3 goals in 2 minutes. It was out of nowhere. They had no goals, look lifeless. And all of a sudden, they scored 3 quick goals to end the second period. It was nuts. Another team that, listen, that's my second straight play of the day. That's when I'm trying to go to 10 in a row. So I hit the Suns, I hit the Rangers. So keep an eye on my plays of the day. I'm going to try and really grind out 10 in a row. But let's flip it to the other hockey game. I thought the Panthers were done. They were down 3-0.
Yeah.
Look lifeless. And they couldn't even handle the puck. I'm watching. I'm like, what kind of Panther team is this? I watched them all. Couldn't score on the power play. They still haven't scored on the power play. I said, what are we watching? They're down 3-0. So then they get a quick goal that bounced off the back of the boards. They got a quick goal, make it 3-1, right? I'm like, all right, Panthers are back in this game. Capitals score quickly again to go up 4-1. I said, that's game. That's the nail in the coffin. They overturned it because he was offsides. So instead of 4-1, it's 3-1. They answer right back 3-2. Changed the whole momentum of the game. Florida took control. They're like we said, like we thought, they're going to win this.
They don't. Yeah, they don't have Tom Wilson. Listen, no Wilson means.
No
Listen,
Tom
Wilson
Wilson's
isn't
huge.
just a tough guy. Wilson's actually a pretty skilled player.
Yeah. He's not just a brawler. He's actually a good
he's
player.
actually a skilled player.
Yeah.
And so not having him is going to affect that series. The Calgary Dallas game didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. It ended
But
up
they
being
showed
a
up in the
2-goal
third
win.
period, man. That place got electric. As soon as they tied the game, you just saw the difference in the skill on the ice. As soon as it was 1-1, all of a sudden you saw dominant Calgary out there skating, hitting, everything. They took over. They finally got their confidence back too. I think that series is obviously over as well. Tonight has a couple of good ones.
Hold on,
Your
before we get
bees.
into,
Your
we
bees.
gotta. Before we get into today's game, we're gonna run a quick commercial. Real quick.
So what's it like playing Sport Hitters? Whether you're at your favorite bar or just anywhere. Sport Hitters' unique challenge brackets offers players a new way to play. Sport Hitters allows you to pick your teams and challenge friends, family, and rival players, all for real money. And best of all, now it's every sport, every day. You can get the app exclusively at sporthitters.com. Sport Hitters, challenge on.
All right, listen, I am looking forward today, and the reason being is listen. Number one, the big story is everybody's overlooked this. We don't know if they're going to re-sign Bergeron, so this literally could be Bergeron's last home game in a Bruins.
Could be.
Playing for the Bruins.
Yeah.
He might retire. I think he's going to retire. He's had an incredible career with the Bruins. He came to the Bruins when he was like 17, 18. His kids are getting older. He's just well respected. I think it's his last game in Boston because I don't think they're going to be able to go to Carolina and win.
Yeah.
I just hope that they go out with winning at home. That's what I hope.
I'm not so sure they're gonna, honestly. I hope for your sake, and I hope for a game 7 for fans' sake. I'm just not convinced that they're gonna win this game tonight. Carolina is a very, very solid, consistently defend. The way they play and I think they're gonna come out here smelling blood, trying to end the series. So it's gonna be tough for Boston.
So one of the things that matters in hockey when it comes to home ice is your ability to put the matchups on that you want for faceoffs and to get your guys on second. That's why Carolina is so tough at home, is they've been able to have the guys that they want out there matching up with the perfection line, the first line. He doesn't have that He doesn't have that luxury when he's in Boston. He has to put his lineup out there. And then Boston can go ahead and put the lineup that they want out there to counter that and then maneuver their next 3 lines accordingly. That's, I think, why it matters so much home ice. Now, does that shift like 3 or 4 goals? No, but it can shift 1 goal. It can definitely shift having the right guys out there against the wrong guys.
Each home team has won the game in the series. So Boston is lined up here to win tonight. It's just how the series has been going.
Yeah.
Let's see if they do it.
The biggest question.
The first goal is important.
The biggest question mark again is Swayman is the goalie. You can't expect to win a series if your biggest question mark is your goalie.
Yeah, it
So
keeps yeah,
I
absolutely.
like the way the Bruins are playing. I like the way the forwards are playing. I like DeBrusque. I like the first line. I like DeBrusque playing the way he's playing. We got McAvoy back. That was the big thing, getting McAvoy back. That's the other thing. We
Yeah,
got McAvoy back. We don't know if we have Lindholm back. I don't know if they're going to have Lindholm back, who was a key pickup at the at the trade deadline. But listen, I'm excited for it. I'd like to see what happens tonight there.
yeah, I'm excited for that game
I'm,
too.
I'm
Should be
looking forward
electric.
to it. Now,
Yeah.
listen, the other game. Here we
We
go with
got
the
two
other game.
elimination games with the both teams at home looking for the elimination. So these are
No,
going to be the
isn't
Blues are at
the
home up
Blues?
3-2 and Kings are at
Oh,
home up
oh,
3-2.
you're okay. Actually okay. Before we get to those, let's get to what I consider an exciting game. Toronto has a chance to knock out the defending two-time Stanley Cup champion. Toronto has a chance to probably get that monkey off their back of not being able to get out of the first round in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah,
I think this is a huge opportunity for Austin Matthews to
yeah.
get all this crap off his shoulder and behind him as quick as possible. And here's the thing: if they pull this off, the rest of the league better watch out for what that does for this team in the playoffs. Because
Absolutely. This is the big hurdle for them. This is a
yeah,
huge hurdle. And I'm telling
because
you right, I don't care that game 7's in Toronto. They don't
yeah,
want to go back to Toronto and
no,
play a game
not
7.
at all. Listen,
Not with the
that is
pressure that'll build up.
Tampa
Not
Bay
against
is
a
a
team like
really good
Tampa
team.
Bay. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
a really
They-
good team.
And Tampa Bay, really, you could say, are playing with house money. They won 2 cups in a row. No one expects them to win the third. If they're in a game 7 in Toronto, that's the last team Toronto wants to see in that situation. So they got to
I,
come out tonight and win tonight.
I would love to be able to talk to Maroon today. How you doing? You're facing an elimination game. You haven't been eliminated from a playoff game in 4 years because
Yeah,
you've always gone on in the last 3. How does it feel right now? I would love to know if he's the guy that's going to address the team.
yeah,
Because don't forget, he won one in St. Louis before he came to Tampa Bay.
yeah.
So
And
the
then won 2
pedigree that
straight.
they have, I mean, you have Hedman. I mean, the Stamkos. You have the whole thing that they
Kucherov's
have.
playing as good as he could play. Listen,
You
point.
could make
They got a lot. And listen, they got a goalie who could just be not let up a goal.
You could make a point that he's the best player still left in the playoffs as their goalie.
Yeah.
Is Tampa's goalie. So at the end of the day, I just if Toronto gets past this, all I can tell the rest of the league is watch out because I think that's going to be a team with tremendous amount of confidence with a lot of skill set that has confidence.
Agreed.
So
And just from what we've seen so far in the playoffs, Colorado versus Toronto, the fireworks and the offensive firepower in that series would just be insane.
Awesome.
Insane.
Yeah.
So that's hopefully what we're looking forward to. We'll see tonight. And then the other 2 games, I don't know. I don't want to say Oilers are out tonight. I actually think the Oilers are going to step up. They're not going to go out like little girls in game 6 against the Kings. I think they're going to win tonight. The Blues Wild, not sure. Every game in that series has been a toss-up.
So a couple days ago, LA got blown out, right? LA got blown out of the game.
8-2 at home.
There was a fight late in the game that the Kings stepped up and fought somebody from Edmonton. They asked Sutter after the game, "What do you think of this? Are you against this?" He goes, "No, I want to see some heart and determination."
Yeah.
They've gone out and won the next 2 games since then.
Yeah.
Since
they
that moment,
won handily in game 4, and then they snuck out a real gutsy win in overtime with everything pointing against the Kings after they blew that 2-goal lead
Sly
late.
Fox, man. He's just a quiet Sly Fox. That coach, man. He's a tough one of the
It's a
tough.
must-win game for the Kings because they're not winning game 7 in Edmonton. So that's why there's an intriguing slate tonight in the NHL. All the 4 games are awesome tonight.
I love what's going on in the playoffs right now. I think they've been very, very exciting.
And I'm happy ESPN is broadcasting them. Finally, people get to watch hockey.
Well, tonight they're on the other networks. Tonight they're on TNT and TBS. I think the NBA is back I think NBA is back to those. So the games are on TNT and TBS tonight, and I think it'll alternate. I think it alternates a lot. But listen, tonight's slate is just it should be a lot of fun.
Right.
All right, listen, let's do this. Let's jump into tonight's NBA slate. So, what are your thoughts on what's going on tonight?
Listen, I'm not 100% sold because I do have a lot of respect for Dallas at home and Luka Doncic, but I don't see a situation in my head tonight where the Suns don't take care of business and end the series tonight. So I have no choice but to rock with Phoenix tonight to end this series. It's just how I see it going. They're the better team by far. And I saw Dallas put some fight up, but I just think they're done. They got mentally defeated last game. They literally got shredded in the second half, lost the second half by 30. And I just think Phoenix and Chris Paul hasn't played good now in 2 games. I think he's due for a big one. And I just think Phoenix has got that, that cliche of the championship pedigree, like I always talk about. So I think they're going to end it tonight. They don't want to play with a game 7. They just don't.
No.
No.
Boy, I listen. It's hard for me. Again, I'm not an NBA guy. I'm not the guy that follows it a lot. The game has changed so much, and it continues to change quite a bit. That I just it's hard for me to follow a lot of. But with that said, I gotta believe the home team. I like both home teams tonight. I know that you don't, but
Listen, I didn't say deliberately. So I said there is some cause of concern because Dallas at home is a different animal. Their role players all hit shots. They play different at home, and Luka gets the calls at home. He's that kind of star. But there comes a time where the team who's neat, like the Bucks last night, they get a big road win. I just think Phoenix is going to come out and try to take care of business tonight. And if they're playing well, they're winning the game. They got to make sure Dallas doesn't jump out to one of those big runs early.
You don't think Luka is going to will his team to win at home the way he does? Hits these crazy last-second shots. And you know what the funny thing about Luka is?
Oh, there's a very good possibility. There's a very good possibility of that. But
He's predictable. He's predictable. When he's going to take the last shot, here's the way Luka takes his last shot. He brings the ball up. He stands over on the top right side, facing the basket. The basket's off to his left, so he's over on the right. They come up, they set a pick to his left. He dribbles over to the left to the 45-degree three-point of the arc, about 5 feet behind it, and that's where he's going to shoot from. It's very predictable. He is a predictable shooter when he's going to take the last shot on where it's going to happen. And then you can say that way about a lot of people. Paul Pierce used to be at the elbow on the foul line.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, that to me, that's not a good thing for Dallas to have to worry about is one guy. Like, if you look at Phoenix, you don't know who's
Brunson,
taking that
I think,
shot,
can lock people down. Yeah, but their role players are playing good at home. Their role players are playing pretty good at home.
That's the thing. Their role players play great at home, and Phoenix, both games in Dallas, didn't play well. So, but I that's the thing. Like, I think that they're going to look at tonight as saying, let's get back to ourselves, go on the road and handle business. The challenge of going on the road and closing the series out, to me, for the team that Phoenix is, I think they get it done. They went back to 8 in last game. He started dominating. I think Chris Paul shines tonight. And I just think this series is over. Remember the last time they were in Dallas, Chris Paul's family got messed with. I think he's going to take that personal tonight in Dallas and put on a show.
All right. So listen, let's jump into baseball. Lot going on today in baseball. I think there's something. So I know that your Mets are playing great. I keep saying right now, the team to watch out for by the end of the year, I believe, is going to be the Giants. I think they're going to end up. I think they're in the World Series. I think this is the more and more I watch them, I think they're built like a World Series team. They do have a guy that can fill. They have a top of the line ace. They have a great 1 through 4. They have 4 pitchers that can all give them 6 innings.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I just said that. But typically you used to say give them 7. Now we're saying give them 6. They're built for their park. I like their team. And I think by the end of the year, I think they're going to be.
There's no doubt about it. The Giants have that under the radar feel for them because obviously when people talk about the best teams in baseball, no one says the Giants right now. So that is a good sneaky team that no one's talking about that is playing well still. But I mean, obviously the cream of the crop is still the Dodgers and the Mets and the NL. And until I start to see a kind of decline in either of those other teams, I'm going to stick with my Mets. Yesterday was kind of that one for finally Tyler McGill didn't have a good game. They got spotted 3 runs in the top of the first, and before you blink, they were down 8-3. So they finally had a hiccup. I think they bounced back today. I think they're on right now, actually. I don't know why I don't have it on.
They're up 2-0 right now.
Oh, so they're back to handle biz. They always bounce back this year. That's good. That's a good sign from them.
Yeah, they're winning right now. Listen, there's a couple.
Man, the Tigers are bad.
So
the Tigers are bad.
Here's why isn't this happening? You should be betting against the Tigers every game because they literally can't score. And if you're in a book that offers Tigers runs, take their under. Listen,
Yeah.
you hit on this. What drives me nuts is you hit on a great stat. You found
But I
something.
gave you the reason why I took that first. I said I'm fading both pitchers. I think one of them slips up in the first. There were 2 debut pitchers who I'm telling you that's why I took
the better
it.
bet was Oakland.
Yeah,
the better bet was Oakland.
Yeah, absolutely. The better bet was
and
Oakland.
again, guess what? They're getting housed again today.
Oh yeah, they're down 3-0 already. Men all over the bases, and look, Tigers have 0 once again. They got shut out last night. They have 0. Right. I don't get how a team in the majors cannot produce runs. Doesn't make any sense to me. Because look, the Reds have scored 14 and 12 in the last 2 days, and everyone was talking about the Reds historically being bad.
The Reds have now won 4 out of 5. To put this in perspective, the Reds have scored 43 more runs than the Tigers have.
The Tigers are 9 and 22. Let me see where the Reds are at right now.
The Reds have 7 wins. No, the Reds have 7 wins.
Bro, the Tigers are worse than the Reds. It's as simple as that.
They have. They're not in standing wise, but in
no. I'm just talking about just in general. I mean, the Reds got 7 wins. The Tigers got 9. The difference is the Tigers don't score more than 3 runs in a game ever. That's the difference. And the Reds actually show the ability to. They're just pitching is atrocious. Their bullpen is garbage. But the Tigers can't score. There's a difference.
There's only 2 teams that haven't scored 100 runs, and the Tigers have only scored 85.
85 runs.
They might not score 100 runs in the next 5 games. They might not reach there when everybody else will be over 150. They'll still be under 100.
Yeah, it's a crazy stat. It's a crazy thing that I've noticed because, listen, I told you I'm in a runs pool. My team's the Tigers. There's no shot I win. I need 9, 10, 11, 12, 8. I need 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's no shot they get all of those. So that's dead. But yeah, it helped me follow this trend and just you can make money betting against the Tigers and taking the unders and their team total under almost every game. Yeah, you might lose every now and then on some fluke shit, but overall you're going to hit 80%.
Do this. Bet against the Tigers every game until they win 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Even if they win 1, come back and bet against them.
Yeah.
Until they prove to you they can score enough runs to win 2 games in a row, you should be betting against them in every game. It is a gift.
Because Oakland is garbage and they're mauling them. It's kind of crazy.
Listen, they can't score enough runs for you to be scared that you have a bad bet.
Yeah.
You go into the game feeling like, listen, even if I lose this bet, it means that
you're in it till the 9th inning. How about that? Because you feel like you're down in the game until the 9th inning. You're in the game.
And here's where I didn't like what you did. If they win a game, I don't care if they win 6-0. You go back and bet against them again the next day until they win 2 in a row. Stay with your patterns until you lose it twice in a row because you should win a bunch of money, and then you only lose a little bit to make you stop.
Yeah.
Stay with it. That's my whole key is stay with it. All right, listen, we got we're going to do a quick commercial. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about brackets and today's stuff. All right, listen, one of the things that we have going on, that was all about the tournaments. And one of the things we have going on this weekend, today, in there today is the NHL. We have first period over-unders, but we also have first team to score. So you got 12 options in Sport Hitters today on NHL. Tomorrow, we're doing first 5 innings plus game for all games because most of the games will start at after 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And all of our exotics like that, all of our props in Sport Hitters always are for games that start after 7 p.m. during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So for NHL, NBA, MLB, it's all for we put all the stuff in there, the stuff that starts after 7 p.m. Now on Saturday, we're coming right back on Saturday. We are going to do in-game props for NHL. Not in-game, but we're going to do props.
Player props.
Player props. And then Sunday, we're going to have player props for tournaments for NBA. So we had a really cool lineup this weekend. It's kind of, it's actually really exciting. It's a lot of fun. So people should just jump in and play. Now, listen, one of the things is we do our quick breakdown. So today is Thursday, my favorite day of the week. So here we go. We got to do this. Here's our Thursday. It's our 2 beers. We're not big parlay guys. We love picking straight, but listen, Thursday is our parlay day. We do 14 parlay. Joe picks 2. He's really good NBA. I pick 2. I pick 2 MLB. We combine them for a 14 parlay. Who do you got for your 2 NBA today?
Well, listen, when we to make a statement, like we're talking about Sunday NBA, like there's a good chance there's no series left come Sunday when you really think about it. Because if Philly loses tonight, Phoenix takes care of business tonight, and the Warriors take care of business tomorrow, and Milwaukee takes care of business tomorrow, there's no series left for Sunday. So there's a chance NBA is not on Saturday or Sunday. So I'm going to go on a limb and say that's not going to happen, is what I'm trying to say. So listen, I want. It's so hard for me to say this.
You got both of them closing out tonight, right? You got both series closed.
I did. But listen, something doesn't sit right with me. I told you, I texted you Miami and Phoenix were my 2 plays today in the NBA. I'm sticking with Phoenix. I just think that they're going to close the series out tonight. But something doesn't sit well with me with Philly. Every home team's won the game in the series, so they're going back to Philly after a clunker. I have a lot of faith in Joel Embiid for some reason. The line to me after losing a game by 30 like that and not showing up for it to be a favorite and all the money on Miami, when you really look at sports betting, you got to look at stuff like that, guys. I'm going to back the home team here to get this to a game 7. James Harden wants to go to the strip club one more time. They're going to go back to Miami. And I think that somehow the superstars get it done tonight. Philly and Phoenix, both favorites tonight.
Here's what I know. First of all, Harden wasn't out clubbing last night in Miami. He was sitting at home in Philly. I think they're going to show up. I like the home teams. I'm with you in that. Now, with that said, your 2 NBAs are Suns and Philly.
Suns and Philly. Remember, the last time we did our 2 beer 4 leg, who was the 2 NBA games that won? Philly and the Suns. Let's go.
Yeah. So, listen, my 2 plays are more plays against the teams that they're playing. So I'm taking Texas, who's playing Kansas City. Kansas City is the 2nd worst offense in baseball, barely above Detroit.
And they dropped 11 last night, so it's a good spot for the bounce back for the home team. I hear you.
And then there's Pittsburgh, who has their best pitcher on the mound, Brubaker. He's going up against Cincinnati. So I'm basically going with where I am saying
2 home teams.
But I'm betting against Cincinnati and I'm betting against Kansas City. I'm banking that those 2 teams are going to lose. It just so happens that these are the 2 teams they're playing because I think they're both horrible, horrible teams. So I got Texas and Pittsburgh to go with the Suns and Philly. There's our 2 beer 14 parlay for today.
Parlay. Lock it in, fellas. Lock it in.
Should make for a very fun night.
Yeah.
If anything else, right? So with that said, let's jump in here. It's time that we're coming to pick of the day.
Our sports hitters challenge.
What do you got for your pick of the day?
All right. I really broke down my number 1 play I love tonight. I mentioned it on this podcast, how I don't see Edmonton going out like little girls, and I mean it. I think they're a better team. I think that they have the 3 best players on the ice, not the first, second, or they have 3, Kane, Draisaitl, and McDavid. I think that the Oilers are not losing tonight. They're going to force a game 7. Oilers, my play of the day, going for 3 in a row. Book it.
Wow. I tell you what, my play of the day. So I love the low numbers in baseball. My play of the day is actually Pittsburgh. They're playing Cincinnati. They got Brubaker on the mound. You can get him at under $140.
They
favorite.
Just came off of beating the Dodgers too. So I mean,
listen, they still have Hayes.
And they got Reynolds.
They got Hayes and Reynolds still. So it's a decent little offense.
They got that guy from Milwaukee too, Vondelsbach or whatever. He hits the ball.
Vondelsbach, the big first baseman, the big dude.
He hits the ball.
He's funny. He's definitely we wouldn't call him very athletic. Listen, that's my pick of the day. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Get them at a low number. They're going up against Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati's won 4 out of 5. Listen, Cincinnati's just a bad team. They're just really, really
No, they are.
bad.
They're very bad. Even when they have the lead at times, they quickly blow it. A blind squirrel is going to find a nut every now and then, so they're going to win some games. But overall, it's always a good thing to fade the Reds.
It's my pick of the day, and I'll be watching the Bruins. How you like that? So my pick of the day, I'm going to be watching. Yeah, I'm going to be watching the Bruins, enjoying a beer, and hopefully rooting on for a Game 7.
And I
Outside
love
of
the
that,
Oilers tonight. Like I said, they already proven they can go into LA and win. They won 8-2, so I don't think that
yeah,
the building is somewhere they can't show up and win. And I just think the magnitude of the game. I think the superstars show up, and I don't think they're going home tonight. So Oilers is my
listen.
play.
And then tomorrow, you love the first five. I've never been a big first five guy, but the MLB first five is tomorrow in the
You
app.
don't let the bullpens get you, guys. Don't let the bullpens get you.
No, you can actually now all of a sudden you can start playing the Phillies. You can
It's a
start playing the
different,
Phillies, man.
absolutely.
It's a different beast. All right, man. All right, let's go enjoy it and go Bruins. Have a
All
good
right,
night,
bud.
guys.
Let's go.